This is an emergency announcement. There is an Ebola outbreak in America right now. It has started. Anybody could be infected. You know, when I was at the co-op earlier, I think there were 5 or 6 people coughing.
They've probably just been smoking pot. It's cold now.
Probably, but who knows? They could have Ebola. Every so often, I like to look at the news online, and sometimes I like to comment about it. This is Adrienne Floreen, comments about the news, and this is an urgent message. I'm really concerned. When I woke up this morning and I looked at what it said on the internet about the current situation with Ebola in America, I became really concerned. And I've been following the news all day. This morning they said 133 people on one airplane flight might have been exposed to Ebola. An hour ago they said 750 people, and now they're saying 800. And then I started thinking about it, and I thought of this. Today is October 16th. The nurse who was infected with Ebola flew on the airplane on October 10th while she was infectious. When someone gets infected with Ebola, it takes 3 to 21 days before they get sick. So theoretically, somebody could be sick right now from Ebola because they were on the plane with that nurse. And they might not know that it's Ebola. They might not ever even suspect it. They might just think they have the flu or something. So, within 3 days, the first few people start getting sick, and once they get sick, they're infectious. So that means every 3 days, a new group of people can get infected. So, on October 10th, the nurse, patient A, infects patients B and C. 3 days later, they start to get sick. They infect patients D and E. That's today. That's the 16th. It's already transmitted possibly through 2 other levels of transmission. There could be people walking around who are sick from Ebola right now. You could go to the grocery store or be walking down the street and somebody could cough on you or sneeze on you or bump into you and they could give you Ebola. And they could have gotten it directly from the nurse on the plane or from someone who came into contact with her who's already getting sick. And after I thought of that, I started thinking about the situation more deeply. And I realized if that woman used the bathroom in the airport while she was infected with Ebola, then a bathroom stall could still be contaminated with the Ebola virus, and everybody who's used that bathroom could be infected. That airport needs to be shut down. If the hospital did what they're saying they did in the news, and they didn't follow proper procedures for preventing things from being contaminated with Ebola, if they didn't wear proper protective gear or didn't take it off properly and they contaminated themselves, then they could have contaminated surfaces all across the hospital. If they didn't draw blood properly, they could have contaminated the entire hospital. That hospital needs to be shut down. Everybody who's in it, who has been in it since the first person got Ebola, needs to be quarantined. That airport, both airports need to be shut down. And right now, you could literally do what I said in my last video. You could go to the grocery store and get infected with Ebola from a random person coughing on you or sneezing on you. And at this point, because it's been 6 days since she flew on the airplane, almost 7 because it's almost midnight, you could not even be getting it from someone who came in direct contact with her. You could be getting it from someone who came into contact with someone who came into contact with her. So you never know who could have Ebola. Ebola is loose in America. It's a worst case scenario come true. So everybody should be prepared. Wear gloves every time you go out in public. Take them off when you get home. If you see anyone coughing or sneezing, ask them to step away from you. Step away from them, but also ask them to step away from you. And if anyone's working or at school while they're sick, please tell them to go home. Even tell their boss to send them home, because they might have Ebola. After I thought about what happened at the airport, how that one woman could have exposed hundreds or even thousands of people to Ebola, I realized that Ebola would spread much faster in America than it has in Africa, because people in Africa are poor, and they live in isolated areas. They don't travel the way people do in America. And because people in America are a lot less concerned when someone gets sick. In Africa, when someone gets sick, they have them lay down in bed and they take care of them and they treat it seriously because people get sick and they die all the time from all kinds of serious diseases. In America, when someone gets sick with cold symptoms, usually they don't die. So usually people don't take it seriously. So somebody who gets sick, they might lay down in bed and relax for a few days and not turn on the TV and watch the news, and they might not even realize they were on that flight. They might not realize that they have Ebola until it's too late. They might think they have a normal cold, and the next morning they might wake up and they might be bleeding or having, you know, some awful, you know, symptom of Ebola that they never thought they would have, and by the time they get to the hospital it's too late. Or they might not wake up. And I was thinking about it some more, and I realized all of the white people who've gotten Ebola in America have survived. The one black person who's gotten America has died. Now there are 2 nurses who have it. One appears to be Asian, the other one is black. If she dies, the black people are probably going to riot. They're going to think the whole thing is a conspiracy to kill black people. They're going to think that it doesn't kill white people the way it kills black people, whether it does or not. That's what they're going to think. And because of other recent events, such as Ferguson, a lot of black people really don't think that President Obama is on their side anymore. In fact, a lot of them think that he's out to get them. It would be possibly even worse than the Rodney King incident. It's not a good time to be black right now. Somebody suggested to me that maybe black people are just more prone to Ebola and more likely to die from it. But I see it differently. He did die from Ebola because he was black, but it wasn't because black people are more prone to Ebola. It was because the medical system in America is prejudiced against black people. They didn't give him the same medical treatment that they would have given him a white person. It was because he was a black man in Texas, or actually because he was a black man in America. Because it happens in places that are not known for being prejudiced against black people. It happens in California, and California is not necessarily known for being prejudiced against black people the way that the South is. I know I'm totally not politically correct. I should say African Americans. But if I was politically correct, then I wouldn't go up to nurses who are licking their finger and tell them that they're spraying the swine flu. I'm not politically correct. That's why people don't like me. But I will tell it like it is. I will tell you the truth. And that's why you should listen to me. Please listen to me. Because right now I'm trying to give you a warning that could save your life from Ebola. It's time to stockpile food, pet food, bleach and bottled water, and supplies for home canning your own food if you need to. Go out to the store and buy a variety of plastic bags and save all of your plastic grocery bags because you will need a lot of bags. You'll also need gloves, goggles, and a breathing mask. This mask will do absolutely nothing to prevent Ebola. It's just a prop for my video. Thank you for watching this video, and if you like this video, please watch my other videos on YouTube.